didn't want you to move it.
Can you
Okay.
see what's happening down here?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you can. Yeah.
Okay, so I restart videotaping it.
No,
Yeah.
no. Just leave it at that. Okay.
Alright, so all we're doing is, whenever I first got over here, she pretty much put herself on, and that's something that she gets rewarded for.
Okay.
Because immediately we're going to show her that initiative that she just took to get herself on the bed. We appreciate it. She gets treats for it. Good job.
So she's gonna want to spend all her time on the bed.
Yes, yeah. And you'll notice that sometimes dogs like walk by the bed and then they look at it and they're like, I can go over here.
If I get on the bed, do I get something?
It becomes especially polite begging, where
Uh-huh.
they kind of go over to the bed and they're just looking at you like, I'm doing it. Can I get something for it?
Hello?
I'm here. It's like once you teach a dog to sit and then you go over to the fridge and you're getting something good for yourself and they come over, they hear the bag and they sit for you. They can do the same thing and they can go to the bed and just look at you and watch like, you like whenever I do this? Can I get some treats for it?
Now, like, keep some treats by your bed, so at night when like they jump on the bed, tell them to get down and say place, and then.
Good girl. Yeah, and that's cool thing about giving treats on the bed is you can just make them airborne. You can just kind of toss them over. Whoops, I put some stuff on your ground.
Oh, that's all right. We got lots of stuff on our ground.
Okay, so what we're doing now is since she's pretty good about putting herself on, you just kind of walk this way, she already does it. She gets rewarded for it. But the word that means she can come off is going to be free, because I think you'll use the word okay for sit in different tricks.
Lots of stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And okay, sometimes that can be something that we say without really thinking about it, but free, for the most part, we're not really talking about free in just normal day-to-day conversation. Free. What? You're free. Good girl. So we're going to start patterning that the word place means go put yourself on the bed, and free means now you're okay to come off. And that's why we won't have to say the word stay, because place implies that you're going to keep doing that until you're told what's coming next. So now, since she's putting herself on, we're going to bring her over. We'll say place right before she goes on. Good girl. And then she gets a treat because she did it. Good job. And then we start kind of walking around, testing her ability to stay on the bed. And we have two options because she has two decisions that she's going to make. She's either going to follow us off, good girl, or she's going to stay on. If she stays on, obviously we're going to reward it, give her that treat on the bed to make sure she knows that's where we want her to stay. And if she does decide to follow us off the bed, that's where we just make the leash, we just tighten it and lead her right back on. Because anytime that we're working with them, a tight leash is us talking to them, telling them something isn't quite where we want you, and we're going to help line them up more where we want them to be. Hey, you're free. You're free. Come on. Good girl. And then free means she can come off. She doesn't get a treat for free. It just means, basically free means you can go be a dog. You can go do what you actually want to do. Oh, Mr. Place. Good girl. Look at you. So once she's on place, you don't have to give her a treat right away, because we're just, all throughout training, we're going to be raising the expectation. Where we're looking for her to stay just a little bit longer. We're going to wait for her to stay for something just a little bit harder. We're always going to be pushing her to have her make better and better decisions and not just kind of plateau at something that's super easy. Good girl. Look at you. Look at you. So walking around the bed can be distracting. Holding food, that can be distracting. Like we saw earlier, I picked up the bag, just kind of brought it over here, and she wanted to follow off immediately, didn't you? Yes, you did. Oh, good girl. Very nice. Get that food. But anytime that you see something difficult's happening and they stay on the bed through it, that's perfect. But especially if they sit down or lay down while that thing is happening, that's them saying, okay, I'll just stay right here until you're done. It just shows commitment to staying on the bed. And for Lola, she likes her beds. You saw that yesterday, that she just wants to kind of lay out all the time. Free. You're free.
Like when I steal her chair over there, see that brown chair? She'll
Is that
make me
Lola's
lay
chair?
there.
Well, both of them, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I come on in, I snuggle with her, and she doesn't like snuggling me on that because it's so
Mhm.
small. She jumps off and goes straight to the bed, the dog bed.
Okay. So who wants to try this out?
I will.
Okay. Pretty simple. I'll break up some of these treats so that we're not giving them giant ones.
Okay.
But here's the little ones for you to start out with.
Place. Place, Lola. Place.
Good job.
Good girl.
And try the next time you give her a treat, try putting it on the surface of the bed.
Oh, okay.
And it's fine. It's
Free.
I throw a lot of rules at y'all during
Instead
lessons
of giving it to her directly.
Yeah. on the surface so that it just makes it easier
Place.
for
Place, Lola.
If she doesn't listen, you
Lola,
can use
place.
the leash to guide her over.
Place.
Perfect. Very
Good
nice.
girl. Free.
All right.
Free. Come on. Free.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to come up with a rule. And that rule is if we're telling the dogs to do something, we're only going to say it once. And if they're not sure what we're asking them to do, the leash is going to show them where to go. So whenever you're telling her to go in place, you're just going to say it once. And if she's kind of looking at you like, what? You can walk that way. You can kind of point to the bed. You can use the leash to bring her over. But what that's going to do is the next time you say place to Lola, she's going to start thinking, what happened last time? There was a pattern. I end up on the bed and good things happen. So pretty much any time that we ask them to do something, we're just going to show them after we use the word. We're going to show them what that word means. So it's a lot of translating. So you can get her attention back on you. You can tell her place and show her how to get on the bed. The one exception to that rule that I just gave you is free. You can say as many times as you want. Because free just means, okay, you're done. You can do what you want to do. Yeah. And if she's just looking at you really comfortable on the bed and she's saying, but I want to stay here, fine, she can stay there. But you can repeat free and kind of make it exciting off the bed also.
Like free.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Look, watch this. Let's go, buddy. Let's go, buddy. She goes to the door, and she wants to go outside. Maybe, oh man, I shouldn't have said that. Hey, place.
I think this is
Place.
probably a good
No.
amount of treats.
Okay.
Place.
Good job.
Good girl. Good girl.
All right.
Wow.
Perfect. She earned a treat.
Good girl.
Are you running low? Do you need some more treats?
Yeah, I have one.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. How many times am I gonna do this? Like as many as you did, pretty much.
You did
Just a
not.
few.
You did not
Oh.
tell her she was free.
Perfect.
Place.
Good. So this is, I like whenever I do lessons with multiple eyes on the dog because times like that are especially important because Lola was saying,
Free.
well, I'm not being directly talked to right now, so I can wander off the bed.
So they won't notice. Yeah.
But yeah, every time, try to keep in mind what the last thing you just told Lola or Havana was so that we can
Sit.
make sure that they're thinking the same thing. If we say place, then place applies until
Good girl,
whatever we
stay.
say next.
And so then what, Sarah, did you understand what Sarah was saying about you tell her place one time, you don't tell her twice? You use the leash the second time.
So that they know the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Place.
You don't want to teach her that, well, you get multiple times.
Mhm.
You know, I can, I'm going to say it 10 times until you finally do it.
We want that first time to be just the spark that makes her think, oh my gosh, yes, I do want to do that. That sounds fun. All right, so now while you're doing
I'm gonna
this,
drop the leash. Is that okay?
don't drop it just yet because we want the leash to be there as soon as she makes the decision to step off. And if I'm right, I think the reason you asked to drop the leash was because you wanted you to go do something distracting. Yeah, so I'm going to be your distraction. I'm going to help you out. So, one thing also to watch out for while she's on the place bed, you want the leash to look like this, where there's a dip between y'all. You don't want the leash to be a straight line between y'all, or,
Like that.
yeah, you don't want to feel Lola on the end, because if you can feel Lola, Lola can
She's
feel
tugging.
you. Mm-hmm. And anytime-
I'm tugging.
Yes, you're
I
tugging.
am.
And anytime there's that tight leash, remember it's us saying something you're doing, we want you to change. So, a loose leash means everything is hunky-dory, we appreciate what you're doing. And I'll be your distraction, so I'll be walking around, getting some treats. Oh my goodness. Lola getting those probably distracting. Good, so immediately the leash gets tight, just bring her
Tight.
back over. You
Like
can
place.
kiss at her, you can talk to her. Good. Perfect. And then help her right back on. As soon as she gets on, that leash loosens. So, would you mind switching roles with me real quick? I'm going to give you the bag. Do you have any more treats? You do. Perfect. So basically, you're just going to go right over there and do what I just did. You show her the treats. As soon as she comes off, the leash gets tight. Please. So, leash gets tight as soon as she comes off. We encourage her back onto the bed. Once she's there, the leash loosens up, and then we remind her place. So, place doubles as go to your bed, and it means stay on your bed. Let's go. Place. So if we're sending her to her bed, good job, look at you. If we're sending her to her bed, we'll say place before we start bringing her over. But if we're telling her to, the mistake that she made was not staying on her bed, then once she's on the bed, we remind her place then. So place is basically, it means go to your bed and stay to your bed. It has two meanings, but both of them, they're basically the same thing. It just means glue yourself to this bed. So if she wanders off the bed, once that leash loosens, we remind her what she was supposed to do so that she has another chance to do it correctly and earn the treat rather than earning the leash.
Should she get a treat for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Here you go. Good girl. Alright, and I'm going to switch you.
Okay.
So I'll take the food, and take the leash, and I have one little treat here left. That. I'll be distraction with that.
Place.
So tight leash, just bring her back over.
Tight leash, bring her over, and then place.
Good, and then
Place.
place when she's on.
Oh.
Tight leash again, help her over. And you can talk sweet to her.
Place.
Place.
Good. And then again, tight leash,
Place.
help her on.
She's on.
Place.
Place.
Good.
Good girl.
There you go, very nice.
Very nice.
So sometimes you can hit kind of a stubborn patch where she's saying, but I really don't want to. I want to do everything but stay on the bed. And if you ever hit a point where she's on the other end of the leash, you're trying to bring her back, and you're pulling and she starts resisting against you, try talking sweet to her and encouraging her, because that's her saying that this really isn't fun. I want to do anything but this. So if you just get that kind of really happy voice where I call it bubbling, where it's you just talking to the dogs in the voice that you usually say for when it's just y'all. So you're just like really sweet and you love them and you appreciate everything that they're doing. See, she doesn't care what you're saying. She just likes the tone of your voice.
Look at you, little Miss Oh Sweet Girls.
So if you feel like she's being a pain in the butt, she's not having fun, so just talk sweet to her and help encourage her, because training really should be.
Place.
Good, help her
No,
back on.
don't say place until you get her up there.
Place.
There she goes, very nice.
There you go.
Good
She
job.
says, I'm going to get off just so I can get back on.
And so that's one more rule that we're going to start adding on is if she wanders off place before you tell her free, tight leash, help her back on, remind her place, and then that next treat, it doesn't come for her fixing herself and getting back on the bed, it comes for her earning it. So that's going to be the new rule of when she gets treats is, are we surprised that she's still there? Did she do something to earn this treat? Here she goes. So go ahead and you can start walking around her again, kind of try to distract her, you can kiss a little bit. Good, so if she still stays there, you can give her love and you can give her a treat.
Good girl.
Good job. But if something else happens, like the food bag comes out again, oh my goodness, look at that. Look at that food bag. Oh, look at how fun that is. Look at that. So tight leash, help her on. You can kind of kiss at her since her attention's still over here. Good. When she's on your right, her place.
So don't give her
And
a
not
treat.
a treat. It takes a lot of getting used to because it is breaking patterns that we already have. So go ahead. What I want you to try to do is while she's on place, try sitting in this chair because Lola might try crawling up you if you do. Or not. Okay. But we're surprised. So watch that leash. We're going to lower it just a little bit. Okay, just like that.
Should I give her a treat for that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good girl.
Anytime you think, hey, she might have come off for that, or I expected her to come off for that,
Oh,
give her a
where'd it
treat.
go? I gave her one. I don't know where she
It
put
might have
it.
gone underneath her.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, and I'm not getting off the bed, so I'm going to do a little yoga and find that treat.
Yep. All right, Lauren, so you'll do this a couple more times. You can go ahead and free Lola off the bed.
Free. Come on. Free.
Very nice.
Go walk over here. Place.
Look at her. She's getting
Good
it.
girl.
Awesome. Here's some more treats for you. I don't know if you're running low or not. Oh, you're good. Here, just a couple more.
Nice. Do you want to?
Yeah, so do some
do you want to do a
distractions.
distraction? Debbie?
What are you doing? Hello. Hi, I see you. And then tight leash, follow all the same steps.
Place.
Good.
Place.
No treat. No treat.
Good. So go ahead and give her a treat right there because a really big distraction happened. You drop that treat.
On the floor.
Yeah. So you were right. You were reminding her, don't give her a treat for getting back on.
But then she dropped it.
Yep. So in the midst of all that, there was a really big distraction. Lola didn't follow.
Now I'm supposed to get another treat, aren't I?
No, yeah, that's definitely what that hand is saying. Like, Shay gets me a treat. What can I do to get a treat here?
Dada. Hi, baby. My
What you
girl.
doing?
Because I love her.
Look at all this. Look at this big old
I
egg.
love.
What's in
Where's
here?
Oh.
Up.
Place.
Up. Place. Place.
Good.
Place.
So I want you to give her all the space on the bed to go. So you're being really good. You're right on top of her. You're saying you want to go over there. Don't do it. But one thing I want you to wait for is once her foot hits the ground, that's whenever you'll start getting onto her for leaving the bed. Because we want her to know exactly what the wrong decision is.
Place.
Good job. So the one criteria that we're setting for her is all 4 paws have to stay on the bed.
Place.
Good job.
Place.
Good girl. Let me look at you. Look at you. Oh my goodness. Good. She can get a big old treat for that.
Good girl.
All right. So Lauren, you can go ahead and free her off the bed,
Free.
and we're gonna switch over so that Debbie
Free.
is holding the reins and everything.
Free. Free, Lola. Good
Good
girl.
job. You are smart, girl, aren't you? Yes, you are. You're smart. Very smart girl.
I'll be the direction.
Okay. Okay, so I can do it from watching, but doing 2 things at one time, thinking about it and doing it, that's where I'm going to
Yep.
get confused.
And that's why everyone's gonna practice during the lessons.
Place.
Yep.
So I give her, I couldn't
You
tell
can give
her,
her
I
two.
didn't tell her to get up there.
It's fine. So what happened there was she was expecting it. You walked that way and you were looking at the bed and Lola said, I know what this game is, let me get up on there. So
I
that's
forgot
something,
to say place.
but it's fine. Because around the house also, if you see her on the bed just hanging out, you don't have to get her off the bed and then put her back on. You can just layer that word on top.
Give her a treat for that.
Good. And try on the next one putting the food on the green surface so that she doesn't want to follow our hands.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
It's the difference between knowing it and just
And
applying
doing
it. You
it.
know it.
I know.
It's just it's hard to actually do it in the
I
moment.
can't
No.
divide my brain.
She's doing good.
Oh my goodness. Good, perfect. You can talk sweet to her so you get her
Come
attention on you.
Come on. Place.
Perfect. And leash relaxes and we go back to those distractions.
Place.
Girl.
Place.
Perfect. You good girl. Big old treat for that. Very nice. That's her showing commitment to stay there through the distraction.
Oh, okay.
Good girl. Good. And anytime you find a distraction that's super hard for her,
Like somebody's sitting right here.
I want to give you a good girl. Perfect. You got it. You got it. Lola's got it. This is going good. So, if you find a distraction that's really difficult, like especially a knock at the door or doorbell ringing, if they want to go over and see who it
Should
is.
I just do it?
Yeah, you can go ahead and do it so that we can kind of apply what I'm about to say. So if
I have no faith.
it's going to be a really big distraction, if
Yeah.
for whatever reason she decides to actually stay there, she gets a big treat for it. But this is something that we'll likely have to practice many, many times because this has so much history of. You bought it?
ready?
No,
No.
it's not.
Mm-mm.
So
Oh, we don't
just
have
knock.
Okay.
Knocking's good.
There's a tight leash, help her out. And this would be a time where you might need to talk to her and get that focus
Come
back
on.
on you.
Come on. Come on.
There you go, perfect.
Place.
And then
And
so
she
it's,
gets, because that was a big one.
mhm,
Oh,
yeah.
well,
Well, it's
She
definitely.
didn't, so I just gave her a treat for the wrong thing.
Okay.
It's all right. Would
Okay.
you mind knocking one more time? There, she gets a treat for it. Yeah, it's not gonna be too hard to teach her.
Girl.
Yeah, she did it on the second one. Yeah.
Okay, so
And
keep
she
doing
doesn't
it.
want it now.
She might not have seen you put it there, but there are
She's
definitely
more interested in that than.
there are definitely times where the dogs just say, "Forget
Okay,
it,
so
I
I
want to see
try
what's going
again?
on."
Right.
Would you mind just a couple more times knocking on the door?
Yeah.
Good. So you can let her know we appreciate it by saying "good girl." Leash brings her right back over.
Come on, come on. Come on, come on. Back up on here. Come on, back up on here. Back
So
up
you can
on
use
here.
the leash, just bringing her towards the center of it.
Okay. Good
And then once she's
place.
on, the hard part is trusting that whenever the leash lets go, she's gonna stay on, which she might not. But it's all right. It's once she's in that right spot, we give her just a little bit of a loose leash, and if she takes advantage of it, jumps off the bed again, fine. We'll just tighten it back up and bring her back on. But she did well for that one.
Good girl.
Okay,
And if she is so focused on what's going on over there, she's just forget about the food.
you can do this for, I can see you through the window. Just do that when you want me to.
Okay, I think we're just about done with it for Lola, but we'll probably have you step back out there whenever it's Havana's turn.
Okay, just tell me when. I have
Okay.
my lines ready.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so you can go ahead and free her off the bed.
Free.
And this time, try telling her where you're trying to get her to go before you start walking this way, so that she sees the pattern of
So
that
use
word.
that word right now.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Place.
And then walk that way. You can use the leash to help her out. Good job. If she walks off, leash tightens up, brings her back on.
Come on. Come on. Place.
Very nice.
Girl.
Good. And it's tempting to give her a treat, but she hasn't earned it for anything just yet. The two things that she'll earn it for is a big distraction or the amount of time that passes.
Okay.
Good. So she can get a treat for that.
Oh,
Go learn.
baby. Oh,
Come on. Come on. Place.
Perfect. Very nice. Look, and she's showing that intent. She's like, oh, fine, I'll just stay here then. Very good. All right.
I used to train them when
Good
I was
job.
really little. I still have the dog training paper on my door.
Oh, yeah?
I can show you it.
Oh
when I
yeah,
get
she'd
her banana.
have little shows and stuff.
Oh,
I
awesome.
still have little awards from when I was little.
That's awesome. Was it 4-H or what were you doing?
No, just her own. She had dog training school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That
It
must
was
have been really fun.
Happy Pup. I told you that when I was
She
little.
was good.
Awesome.
She was little and she was good.
Very cool. So for Lola, what you can do is you can start acting more casual like you would around the house. So you can kind of sit over here. You can do something that kind of takes your mind off of the fact that, oh, I definitely need to stay here. So if you catch yourself, you're trying to get her to stay on the bed and you're not really having a big distraction go on, and you kind of realize you're almost playing bodyguard, then you can just take a step away, sit down somewhere, so that it's more just a casual setting than her thinking that it's strictly training time.
This is it, yeah, right.
Because
we need to do this for other than just this blip of time.
Yeah,
we need
exactly.
to do it
Mhm.
as a rule.
Yep.
Okay.
anytime you find yourself with an extra 5 minutes or you're not in a time crunch to get anything done, that is the perfect time to apply training. It's just anytime throughout the day. Anytime that they're around, just go ahead and do something.
I might need to set an alarm for that. I'm not quite there yet.
Mhm.
Extra
am,
5
I
minutes.
think.
Okay.
Okay,
Like
perfect.
when I get home from school, like
Mhm.
5:30, I could do it, or
Yeah.
like 5:30 and 4:30. Like
Mhm. Yep. And so if I know you cook dinners sometimes throughout the week, so if you find yourself with something on the stove and you're not watching it super closely, then you can put a dog on place, and if they start wandering off, you can come over and just put them right back on.
ooh, that would be good for not out the kitchen. For
Mhm.
me. Just stop saying that.
Mm-hmm. I think place is going to be magical.
Yes, place helps so much stuff around the house. All right, so you can toss her a treat if you have any. Do you have any treats? You do. Look at that. All right. Well, you can go ahead and free Miss Lola off the bed,
Free.
and we're gonna switch her out for Havana, so Havana
Okay.
can come down
I'll
and get
bring
free
down the
one of
people
them.
while I'm at
Free.
Free?
You're free. Come on.
You're free.
So if she gets stuck, there you go. You can get excited just to give her a reason to come off. Kind of like
Wow, I'm
sometimes.
surprised she likes that so much.
I'll
It's-
I'll bring
She
it
normally
up with
likes the
this,
really
and then
soft
I'll
stuff.
bring
I'm
it
sure
back.
why she likes it. Maybe because it's like air underneath.
Yeah, it's cooling.
Here, let me get it because I'm gonna get paper too.
Okay, well, I was gonna bring her up with this.
Oh, yeah.
thing, and then-
Upstairs, we should teach her upstairs.
Yeah, upstairs is something.
Upstairs would be a good technique like that. Would that be a good?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can do it pretty much the same way, where you say the word and then everything you do after it just teaches her what that word means.
Thanks for helping us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. It's my
Yeah.
job, but it's definitely a hobby also.
Mhm. Let me go get the paper.
Hi, little bees. Hello, hello, hello. So is Havana going to be working for the same treats? Do you think she'll be as interested in them?
It doesn't matter.
You think that? You like that?
That's fine.
Oh yeah, she likes it.
Okay.
Oh, look at that. This is so cool. So what was break? Oh, that's your
It's like a
schedule.
break.
Oh. Cool. I really like that.
Yeah, I couldn't spell very
Does it
well.
say one trick a day?
Hey.
No, one trick left. Okay.
Yeah, and it was Lola and it was roll over. And then I had this little sign that
Oh, cool. Did you go to a hotel and get that?
Dominic did.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess he would with bringing Havana everywhere. Good girl. All right. We working for
He knows
dinner.
all the
That's nice.
pet-friendly hotels.
That's awesome.
That was residence.
There's an app that's called Bring Fido, and it's probably something that he already knows about. But Bring Fido, it tells you
Yeah,
restaurants.
it does.
It tells you restaurants that allow dogs, hotels that allow dogs.
Really?
The one thing it doesn't do is it doesn't tell you like shopping places that allow dogs.
Right.
But
You know what
He
he
just
does?
takes them in.
He just takes them in. You know,
Okay.
it's the beg for forgiveness instead of ask for permission.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want some water?
Oh no, I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Do you want some water, Debbie?
Nope, I'm drinking my coffee.
Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all with this leash. So the reason this leash is so useful is because it doesn't work like a flat collar where you pull and there's all this openness right here.
Mm-hmm.
It contracts around the neck, so it's a different feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all we're looking for is response from it.
Mm-hmm.
So with this one, we try to keep it high up on the neck because that's also where we get a little bit more leverage over them. The further down on the neck you go, the stronger the dog gets, and that ends in the chest where harnesses. I think you experienced that some, where a harness is almost channeling the dog to pull you forward. Easy walk harnesses, the ones where the clip in the front, they can't put all that weight in the front because now there's something pulling them the other direction. So that's where easy walk harnesses help, and dogs can still learn how to get around it. Like I told you, they can start walking diagonally. Yeah. But this one, whenever the leash is up higher, it's not as easy to ignore. And so we're just going to teach them right from the start that anytime you feel it, it's us talking to you, trying to get you to change something. Hi, what are you doing?
She's a big sweetie. I call her a roly-poly.
She is a roly-poly.
Because look,
You
she
are
curves around all
roly-poly.
the way.
She does what?
She like rolls down, curves on you like that. So I call, see, like that.
Like
That's why I
that.
call her a roly-poly.
All right, so on the leash, there's a little bit of a tab, a little leather tab on it.
Mm-hmm.
And all you wanna do-
up and down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All you want to do is have the leash positioned high up on the neck and slide the tab down so that it stays relatively high on the neck. If you see it, it's going to drop eventually because you're using it.
Okay.
The leather tab's going to move a little bit. As long as it's not at the bottom of her neck, you don't have to worry about it slipping down a little bit. But if you do notice it's actually at the base of her neck, that's where you can reach in and just raise it back up, slide that tab back down. Alright, so step one might be more difficult with Miss Havana. Hey, Miss, what you think? Just seeing what she thinks of the bed, see if she'll put some feet on it. Maybe not. Some dogs don't like the bed.
Should we try that bed?
We're going to try this one for right now because the elevation also helps teach the boundary.
Okay.
Girl.
Kind of like it's a
Here you go. Good job. Good, you got it. Good girl. So, teaching her, this might be something that she might start doing occasionally for y'all, where she's hesitant to get on. Especially if the bed smells like Lola, she might decide that she doesn't want to get on there. Good girl. But all you're gonna do is help her figure out that it's not a terrible place to be, it's actually a really good place to be. So bringing her on the long way.
Yeah.
Bringing her on the long way, she's gonna be more inclined to put more feet on. Good girl. Because she's trying to walk all the way. Good girl. And then the longer she hangs out, the more food comes to her.
Good job. Look at you.
And so she's starting to get not so freaked out about the bed.
What are you doing? Come on.
Yeah, good girl. There you
Good
go.
girl.
Very
Good
nice.
Good girl, Havana.
Good job. Look at you. Wow.
It's working with dogs just takes a lot of patience and just understanding good girl, understanding what's going through their heads. Where we don't want them to feel like they're gonna get trapped getting on there. So the worst thing you could do is as soon as any feet get on the bed, just start pulling her all the way, because then that place is gonna be terrible.
Sounds like something I would do when I was little.
And that's there's a lot that we do, good girl, that starts just creating patterns in our dogs. Like I think back to whenever I was younger, and we always had good girl. In my family, we always had rat terriers, and I think about the way that we terrorized those dogs. It's horrible. We trapped them. We didn't trap them, but we basically trapped them in our closet, dressed them up in our dress-up clothes, painted their
That's me.
nails. Yeah.
That's me. I've done that, but all of those.
But there's one picture of our poor dog. His name was Tortilla, and he's trapped in like this weird plastic cubby thing we had. Good girl. He's trapped in this plastic cubby thing, and the picture, he just looks so depressed. Good girl. Very nice. So all I'm doing with Havana is I'm doing the same stuff that Lola was just doing, just less rules. So there's not so much of a penalty for coming off the bed right now. It's just she comes off and to kind of show her how to get back on. So right now, if she fixes herself, she gets a treat, because we're just trying to make this the best place ever for right now. Good girl. Good job. And we're also not using the word place. Well, I just said it, but we're not actually using it. So that if she decides to run around the bed or do whatever,
That's good.
it's all right. So it's not, once we start adding words to things, it's because the behavior is already understood. Good girl. All right, good job. So I'm working kind of baby steps of what Lola was just doing. She's mostly staying on. We're doing a lot more with treats right now. Good girl, look at you. Very nice. Very nice.
Let me know
Good
when
job.
distractions are gonna happen.
Fairly soon.
Lauren likes to be the distraction.
Good girl. So now we're going to try walking around a little bit. She gets off, we can guide her back on. Good job. Come on. Let's go. Good girl. All the way. Get back on. There we go. Good. So, as we get further along, you'll see that I start doing more that's in line with the actual expectation that we're going to start holding for it. Let's go. Good job. Like every time she comes off the leashes now, it's not as obvious as it was for Lola, where it's definitely tight, it's definitely bringing you back. Right now, it's more of just, it's kind of there. It's kind of giving you a nudge in the right direction.
It's teaching her to get on, because before she was rejecting it.
Let's go. I know, it's not fun. There you go, good girl.
He taught her to say, he would say, go lay down, and she would run up to the room and go lay down on the bed.
Oh, awesome. Very cool.
I don't know if she still does it. I mean, she'll run up, and then she'll come back down, peeking her head around the corner like,
Am I still supposed to be here? Good girl.
can I come out yet? No.
Get back on. Good girl. Get back on. So it's baby steps. she has trouble whenever I do this. So one of these times,
she thinks that she's supposed to follow you.
Mm-hmm. But good girl. One of those times she's gonna do it right. Because it's all they're trying to get whatever best outcome they can, and if every time they come off they get put right back on, they're gonna realize that that's a step that they can skip. Good girl. Because we're basically resetting them, and we're showing them ways to earn treats. But in that instance, following us off the bed wasn't earning a treat. So what will?
It's just getting you back.
You freak. All right. So now we're going to start using the word place, and we're going to hold the same standard that we were teaching Lola, but we're going to start from scratch with Havana. Place. Good girl. So now, if she comes off the bed, as soon as she does, Alicia's going to start pulling her right back on. But anytime we're surprised that she's still there, she's going to get another treat. Yes, you are. Good girl. But there are different things that dogs can start cueing off of.
She's probably in heaven right now with treats.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Get back on the bed. Good girl. Please. Please. Good job.
Very nice. Good girl. Good. So her sitting there, that's her saying like, wait, let me stop and think real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Where am I supposed to be?
Mm-hmm. She's not following.
Oh, look at you. Very nice. Good job.
But walking this way.
And something about walking that way.
Please. And a lot of what it is every time I'm telling her to come off the bed, it's mostly from this side.
Mm-hmm.
Good girl, look at you. Because that kind of starts treating that side as the entrance and the exit. All the others are walls, but this is the one that can release you.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I walk this way, she's more inclined to follow me off because that's a pattern that she's also learning.
Wouldn't this help for like when you're walking on the leash too?
Yep. And so place is the easiest thing of what I teach for the dogs to pick up on because there's an obvious physical and visual place where you're supposed to be. Good girl.
Because I feel like when they're gonna see that leash, they're gonna think treats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I bet.
Good job. Look at you. Just hanging out. Yes, you are.
I don't think of it a lot, but they can only see it was blue and black and green. No, it was blue, black, and
I hear a lot of different stuff. I've heard that they can see all colors, just muted. Almost like everything they see is pastels. Good girl. All right, who wants to do it first? Lauren or Deb?
because last time
I'll break up some more for you. Here's one to get you started. It's all right. I see everything kind of processing in your mind. So sending her to place, you can say place before she's on the bed. Look at her. She is so smart. So tight leash, help her back on. Good.
Place.
don't give her a treat for that.
I'm
She's
just
on.
trying to make sure it's loose.
Here's some more treats for you.
She needs to learn
Perfect.
from other people too, because Lola was good about it, but she's kind of like, oh, it's just her, so.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And everybody's going to have all the same rules. Good job.
And we're gonna, me or you are gonna have to teach Dominic. It's probably gonna end up me.
Isn't the video for Dominic?
Oh yeah.
And the good thing is, so
I
y'all
can
are
still teach him.
y'all are probably going to have him here at the house.
You did say like around the 21st.
Oh
Okay.
But he's driving. That's the whole deal. That's why
Mhm.
we don't know exactly. He's in New Mexico.
Oh, okay.
yay! I didn't know that.
I can tell because I see it on the map. He goes so many places. We forget.
Well, y'all are probably going to have him at the house at least a little while before I show up to have the lesson. So
Nice.
everybody learns the best through teaching. So y'all can go ahead and start teaching him. And that's a good way to come up with questions also. Because somebody new learning something, they're going to ask you, like, why? Why do you want to do it?
Why?
Why do you want to do it this way? And then you might be stumped and might think, I don't know, that's just what Sarah said. So if he does ask a question that you don't know the answer to,
Tell him watch the video.
uh-huh,
Well,
yeah.
it is gonna be like 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, we're a little bit longer.
Yeah, I don't know how I send that. Do I send that like through email? Or?
Email is probably going to be the hardest way. I have,
Okay.
actually the easiest way I found is to put it on, I don't know if either of y'all have like a YouTube channel, but if you just upload it.
Can I do that onto a YouTube and then? Okay.
That's the easiest way. So then you're just sharing the link instead of sharing the whole file. That's what I've found, like video sharing.
Yeah, okay,
It's
yeah.
easiest if you have Dropbox is another way, just somewhere so that you can upload
You
it.
always do Dropbox.
Right.
Yeah, so
I
you can
used to-
upload it
yeah.
into the internet and then just send him the link to it.
When she's being good like this, do I just give her a treat or do I tell her
You can
Good
always
girl.
tell her good girl.
good girl? Good
You can
girl.
always praise her.
I think it's time for a distraction. Though.
Oh,
Sarah
very
will have
cool.
to tell me. 'Cause
Yeah, no, it definitely is time for a
Can I-
distraction.
Can I do it?
She's been
Yeah.
doing pretty good. Soon as the bag came.
Good.
Like,
Oh, what a sweet girl.
Awesome, big treat right there.
She knew. Look, she's talking.
good girl.
Now, but
She
if
is a
I wonder-
smarty pants.
And now, after a few more times of this, I should knock on the door.
And so you can try, once she's back on the bed, you can try walking by with the food. Perfect. So once she gets it right, then we'll move to a harder one.
Place.
So she's back on place, you can walk by again with the food.
What is sweet? Okay, now.
She almost did. She held up for a little bit longer. If she's ignoring, you can kiss at her to get her attention back on you.
Come on.
There you go.
Place.
They like that noise.
And then just-
What is sweet, Sabina?
Good. Very nice treat.
Good.
Can I do the kissing
Good
lips?
job.
Yes, and actually, hold on for just 1 second. You're going to do the same thing walking by, and you can walk by and do the kissy lips. On the next one, I want you to try being casual. So try just like hanging out, try acting like you're looking
Like,
at something.
I'm not paying attention to her, so maybe she can get away with it.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Because what I noticed on the last one was
She looked to see.
Lauren was walking by, and then you were already getting ready, which is perfect. You're on the ball, but your hand went up to get the treat, and she just immediately looked at you and she sat. And she was like, "Got it, I'm not going anywhere." So try just being a little bit more casual, and if she's looking at you for reassurance, give her a good girl. But try not doing anything with your hands until she's ultimately earned that full treat because
Okay.
she did the whole thing.
Okay.
All right, Lauren, so you can walk by a couple more times, just crinkling the bag and stuff. Good, big old treat for her.
Good girl.
I almost said,
Good girl.
Yes,
Good
I think-
girl.
and I caught myself.
Perfect, because you don't want to give her conflicting commands, especially
Yeah,
for
that's
asking her
easy.
to make her way back to you. That's so important that we don't want to tell her like, oh, okay, just ignore that word. That doesn't mean anything right here. So yeah,
Because
perfect.
then it will mean something.
I heard you do it too, because you said her name and you were like, Cav. You kind of sucked it back in, which is perfect. You don't want to start kind of
conflicting.
you don't want to start trying to trick her with other words that mean stuff.
That you want her to, you do want her to obey that command.
Yeah, because
so,
then she won't
So,
want.
yeah,
Okay,
it's
so.
not fair to her to do that.
Amanda! Hi, girl! See, this is what we do all the time. That's why she's like, what?
Good.
Amanda, you're so sweet. Oh, yes, this is a sweet girl.
All right, I'll take that bag. She's in retreat, and you can go be our little knocker.
Good girl.
And you said
Good
a
girl.
thumbs up will work for you? You see
Yes.
the thumbs up and you'll knock? Perfect. Do you need some more treats?
Yep.
Oops. Good, big treat for her.
Good girl.
You did good?
Yeah, she didn't bark.
She's
So would you
much-
mind doing it a few more times for us?
She's much better at the door and stuff.
And she's probably so in tune with things that she knows it's Lauren out there. She's like, what's Lauren doing? Why is she knocking on the door?
Right.
So what you can do is you can try, since she's doing well, you can try sitting over here, kind of casual like you ended with Lola on. There goes Lola.
Lola's all about the door.
Hello, because one thing that I'm noticing you're really good at that other people kind of struggle with is you're not giving up. You hold the leash tight and it's going to stay tight until she ends up back on the bed. I'm going to reach in real quick just to pull this up a little bit. But what some people do is they start bringing them that way and then they feel the resistance on the other end of the leash and they let up and then they start talking. But it's talking them through the leash tension. So that we're...
Come on. Place.
But singing is a big distraction. Hello. Good, so you can
Good
toss the treat.
girl. Good. Come on. Place.
Perfect. We're gonna do that again. Cause she's anticipating. I get closer to the door, and she's like, "Somebody's here." She's gonna let somebody in. Hi, Laura. Nice to see you. You can come in.
I was gonna say,
Good girl.
you can open the door. That was
Good
be like,
girl.
oh, it's not Lauren.
Awesome. All right. So, little Miss, good girl, almost.
Place.
It's difficult, isn't it? I have a treat right here. It's maybe for you, maybe it's not.
I wish dogs could speak English.
We're gonna teach the dogs to at least understand English.
It's like they don't do anything, but they seem like they have this expression. Come on.
Oh goodness, I can tell I'm
Place.
getting tired. When I get tired, I laugh much more.
I think I have that same trait, and I know I got it from my mom. She.
Yeah, I got it from Grandma.
And I think I got it from you.
Yep.
You can tell when her mom gets tired because she just gets so like
Giggly.
ditzy.
Uh-huh.
Man, she's a hoot whenever she's tired. Okay, so
Better
we're
than alcohol.
Yes. And my mom, she's never had a drunk with alcohol in her life, but she gets.
Really?
Yeah, it's
That's
just
wild.
one thing.
Yeah.
One thing about my mom, but whenever she gets that way, my dad always like turns to me and he's like, "Your mom's drunk again." Drunk on lack of sleep. Like last Christmas, we have White Elephant, and she had spent like the entire night of Christmas Eve knitting something for White Elephant. It was just a joke gift, but she stayed up all night like learning how to knit, just to knit this one thing. And then, oh my gosh, all through Christmas Day, my mom was just like the most fun I've ever seen her be. It was a fun Christmas. Hopefully she does it again this year. But I'm going to hold on to Miss Havana while y'all go up and leash up Lola.
We're just putting them together.
We're not going to put them together. So Havana's going to be on leash down here. And Lola...
I'm staying away.
So you're just going to go ahead and put that leash on Lola and bring her down.
Okay.
And would you mind moving the placement
Over.
maybe over there,
Right here?
kind of by the stairs?
Don't worry, that's not breathe. She just coughs when she gets a lot. So
Mm-hmm.
right here.
Yeah, just somewhere so that Debbie can work with Lola. Probably about right there.
The bed's right by there, Debbie. So just tell Debbie to tell her place.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell her place. The bed's right by the stairs.
Place.
I know you're talking about the extra water. It's not looking.
Place.
If you met him in person, you might say something different.
Place.
Hey, would you mind grabbing a handful of treats for Debbie and just kind of bring it over to her?
I wouldn't mind.
Well,
Gotta
if you
break
did mind,
some.
would you do it anyway?
Huh?
I said, if you did mind, would you mind doing it anyway? All right.
Do you need some?
No, I've got a pretty good handful right here. I'm gonna pass Miss Havana over to you, and things are going pretty well. So she's just gonna be working on place. Here's some more treats for you. And Lola's gonna be working on place. Treats are gonna be in the middle, y'all. Help her back on.
I was the one that took her off.
Okay,
Oh,
perfect.
I
You
just
can
said
just put her right back on.
Come on, put her. Come on. Place.
Say place. Lead her over. Use that leash.
Start kissing.
Kiss at her. Talk to her. Get her attention.
Come on.
Good.
Nice. Good girl. Good girl.
So they're both interested in each other. Lola looks a little bit more distractible, I would say. Like, I'm sure if you just kissed right now, would she look at you? Yep, pretty easily. It's more difficult for Havana to look away.
I don't like it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and take her. Hi,
She's tugging.
Okay, so I'll take
What
her.
do you do when that happens?
If she's looking one way, it's alright. Take those. Whoops. Oop, I'm sorry. I'll take her out.
Get some more for you.
If you wouldn't mind. Good girl. So she is staring. Hey, you're good. And one thing we can do, good girl, is just take the novelty off of Lola. Good, please. Whoops. Come on, good girl.
Take it.
Thank you. So anytime she looks that way, free, I'm gonna take her mind off of it by taking her off the bed over here, and then putting her back on. Place. Good girl, look at you. And then suddenly her attention's more on me because I'm engaging with her. Free. Whoops, tripping over a rug.
How do you trip over a rock, Havana? How do you do that?
And it was me.
Oh.
I did it. Good girl.
I was gonna say, Havana's a dog, though.
Mhm. Good job. Alright, so she's not so intensely aroused by the fact that Lola's around that she can't look at anything else. Free. Good girl. Place. Good.
You can practice with her over
Is it
there.
okay that she's got one paw off?
So for Lola, we'll let it slide. My Irish setter does it a lot of the time. And it's just them trying to stretch out. If it was more,
Like they were trying to get away with something?
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can tell when they're
Mhm.
doing that, yeah.
yeah. And that's why being on a soft bed like the one over here, free. Good girl. Please.
It's harder to...
Yeah, because it's hard to tell the difference between them honestly just slipping off the bed and then them actually trying to just sneak their way off.
Mm-hmm.
Because on an elevated bed, it's not really going to happen by accident. Lola might try stretching out, and is that me? No, maybe not. Okay. Sorry, I heard like this weird little ding, and I thought it was me.
Oh,
That's
it's
hard.
this security system that we don't have that keeps dinging now.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know. We can't figure it
weird.
out.
Okay.
We're used to it.
Okay.
It used to mean the door was opening and closing, and now
No,
it
what
doesn't.
does this sound?
Now it just does it randomly.
Yep.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's that thing, if you unplug it, it stops.
Good
It
job.
has a pretty good speaker.
Good. All right. So, can you help Debbie with one thing real quick?
What?
Moving the bed just a little bit closer. Cool. So probably about like where this chair is where we'll put the place bed. Move this kind of over here. Good girl, look at you. Very nice. Good job. Let's go. Place.
Place.
Good job.
Place.
Good. Place. Get on that bed. Here we go. Good job. Free. Good girl.
She's very focused on Lola.
Girl. Yep. And so
And
we're
she's
just
focused on you.
gonna do things to take her mind off of Lola over there. Lola doesn't mean anything. Place.
Are they allowed to play with each other still?
So
After-
not yet.
Not yet.
Not
yeah.
yet.
Good girl.
Because the way Havana is staring is, it could be something, yeah, some kind of bad intentions here.
Lola's doing it too a little bit.
She's not doing quite the same hard stare, where if you see the difference, sit.
Do you think it's possible because of the treats?
It could be treats, it could
like
be
Lola's, because she gets jealous when Lola gets something.
just,
So, and treats, I could see that she's
Yep.
jealous
And
of it.
attention. When you
And attention, whenever. So it is so funny. If you're like calling one of the dogs and they don't come,
girl.
all you have to do is call the other dog because they're jealous.
Okay.
So if I call that one, this one's gonna come running and vice versa. Because like, well, why
Yeah,
are you
so
calling? Why are you calling her? I want it. I want whatever you're calling her for. Yeah.
Like what makes Lola so special? Why can't I get this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Good girl.
Are you gonna give Lola some treats, Debbie?
Yeah. I gave her. Good girl.
Would you mind, Lauren, grabbing me some more treats?
Yes, I told you I tried mine.
Oh, you do? That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. Look at you. kind of tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Very hard.
And it gets your hands all salty and. There it is. Good. Look at you. Oh, thank. That's a good one.
Yeah, let's keep that right here. Hopefully, is that okay?
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's a
Okay.
good distraction also. So we're capable of being in the same space. Havana does end up kind of staring at Lola just like that. Good girl. So on this next time that she stares at Lola, I'm going to see what other changes she does. Because a stare could be her just kind of taking in what's happening over there. But,
Good girl. Good
What happens if
girl.
I knock on? Should I not knock on the door this lesson?
yeah, don't knock on the door just yet. So she's staring, and then she broke attention. Good girl, look at you. But you can watch, what I'm watching for is if there's like a stiffening of the rest of her body, if she's still breathing. Because that could be the first sign before a lunge, where she's staring and she's thinking, okay, what's my best route to get over there? And how fast can I do it? You're still breathing, that's good. Good. Place.
And then again, they haven't seen each other for a while.
Yeah, so there is a novelty in seeing each other, but we don't want to. Did you hear that? Did I imagine that?
Mm-mm.
You didn't hear that? Okay. guess
I know
not.
I did.
You did? Okay. Was it Havana?
No, it's in Lola.
It was Lola.
She
Okay.
makes weird
She
sounds.
sometimes she does.
Sometimes she goes up there
Okay.
randomly.
You know, could
Good
just
girl,
say
look at
gas from
you.
treats. Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So this is going to be y'all's homework, keeping them not any closer than this. And whenever they are both out together, making sure that the leash is in your hand and you're ready. You're just expecting at any moment one of them could just lunge for the other one. So you're holding on. The way I like to hold the leash, good girl. The way I like to hold the leash is where the end of the loop is around my thumb, and then the rest of my hand holds the leash so that it's as short or as long as I want it to be. But what that does with the leash being around your thumb is if, for whatever reason, if Havana decided to lunge towards Lola and this slipped through my hand, it's going to all come out, but I still have it around my thumb so I can just hold on and still get her away. Good girl, look at you. Does her ear usually look like that? Or the right one? Okay.
Wait, what is it look? It's like
This
one
one,
up
it's
and
kind of,
down?
it's,
Yeah, her
open
ears all
sort of?
flop around.
okay. Good girl. Because I was wondering if that was her still looking this way but listening in on what Lola's doing over there. Because it could be.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But she's not looking at her.
Mm-hmm.
So that.
There's food right here, Lauren's right there. But I'm sure if I swung around this way, she'd start staring at Lola again. Well, Jerry, you're gonna make me a liar.
Liar, liar.
Good
There.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's boring now. She's laying down. Do you think that's it? Because all of a sudden she started laying down.
Yeah, it could be that now that she's laying down, Havana doesn't have to
There's
think
no
about her as
threat.
much.
Okay.
But
Lola is looking at her.
it could also be
Not
the amount of
bad.
time passing that Havana's learning that Lola being over there, Lola's not going to do anything. Girl. But I want to see what happens with me standing over here. If Havana's going to
Like,
settle.
we can just have
If
a
she's
conversation and kind of ignore her.
Yep.
Like, kind of just.
If she's gonna settle, is that what you said?
Yeah, if
Okay.
she's going to settle, like if she'll end up sitting down or laying
Let
down.
her guard down.
Because right now, since Lola's been down here, she hasn't.
Mm-hmm.
She's just been standing the whole time.
Was she doing it before? Was she?
She
laying
sat a few times. I don't think she
No.
ever fully laid
down? I don't
down,
think she did.
but she did sit.
How did you do that so easily?
I would grab like the weird lump thing and I just
Oh.
snap that off.
Oh, I'm just doing that.
That works too. There's no wrong way to snap it.
Yeah. Oh, wait. What? I'm like, while we're at it, why don't we snap them?
You could give Lola a treat. Do you have any treats?
I have every once in a while, but no, not as often as I should probably. For just laying there and being passive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Good. Look at
Aw,
you.
good
Very
job.
nice. actually laying down.
Maybe not, but that's okay.
And you don't want to specifically tell her to do that. You want her to do that on her own.
Right now, I'm trying to see if she will do it on her own. But on place, there aren't really any rules. If you're on place, you don't have to sit. You don't have to lay down.
What if we all sat?
Yeah, that could definitely put her a little bit more at ease.
You know my brother did that. It's him.
Is that your brother?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Then behind that.
He's a rapper.
Is he?
Yeah, you know when
Atlas,
he
Atlas.
when I got custody of him, he
It's my grandpa.
started.
Oh, wow. Your brother
Like-
did that one too? No. Okay.
My uncle did that. But he started like writing these rap tunes, and I would look at him and I'm like, and we go to counseling, right? And so, but I started thinking about it and I thought, well, maybe it's just kind of like someone journaling. That's supposed to be good for you, right? So I didn't, but some of the stuff worried me. But anyway, so I brought it to counseling, and you know, and so he's become really good at rap, and so he's found this this place where he can record songs, and they are having some sort of festival in Galveston that's supposed to be some
No Sleep
headbanger, no sleep, and I think he's going to be the only. They invited him. And I think he's going to be like the only rapper there.
Yeah, because it's heavy music.
And so he says, I gotta like be the, I gotta do good for the rappers here. But yes, I mean he is it getting boring? Come on.
Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
If you breathe in, you have to breathe
Yeah,
in.
she's still breathing.
Look at you.
So yeah, he's going to school at San Jack, and he joined the Air Force National Guard.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he does his once a month deal,
He's
and
moving to Navy.
so I mean he's a good kid, and he does good, but boy, he sings about some stuff. Good thing I can't understand half of what he's saying.
Okay.
But he enjoys it, and he's a good kid.
Mhm.
So
And his partner's name is Solid. He's Atlas.
Atlas and Solid.
And together they're Solids.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
I know this stuff, and I'm probably going to get a shirt from him. He said he was going to buy me one for free.
So y'all aren't going to the No Sleep Festival?
I am.
Oh, you are very
Yes,
cool.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
you are?
In the midst of
Well,
all these
I don't
heavy
know if
metal
you're
people.
going or not.
Maybe
yeah.
some of the
But
time.
I will go.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the midst of all the heavy metal people,
Yeah,
you'll just be there.
I'm
cheering on
a,
your son.
yes, I'm a supporting mama. Definitely.
I mean, can I be there for like at least one of his songs?
I think we could try to figure that out. Yeah, because
At least a
Grandpa
phone
probably
call.
doesn't want to go, so we can let you see one of the songs, and
And
then maybe Grandpa can take you back. You can be there and see one of his songs. Grandpa
And
can
then
take
we
you.
could,
And then I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna watch all this stuff. Yeah.
and you're gonna do smoky eye makeup, most likely.
You think I'm gonna do the smoky eye
Because that's what you do before.
when I get dressed up?
No, that's what you do when you go to stuff like that. Like you've gone to one for his
When
before.
I go to stuff like that, like I don't go to stuff like that. Once.
No, you did once with him.
Right. 'Cause
And you put like smoky eye.
yeah, I did.
No, she's doing good.
She is. She's definitely looking in the area of the treats, but it's good to see that something can trump Lola being in the room.
Yeah.
Treats are more
Right.
exciting.
Especially
you know?
with them being separated for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Can I
So
go
They
get
have
a
had
treat
a
for
few.
you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can
Look at the bubble. Look at the bubble.
Yeah, she does.
the boxer bubble.
The boxer bubble.
Monster bubble.
Oh, you're not supposed to do it in the mouth. You're supposed to put it in the
One time won't kill them.
And now I wonder what would happen.
Good job, Lola. You're being such a good girl.
Lauren, do you want to come take the reins with Havana? No. No? Because between lessons, you will have to either hold on to Lola or Havana.
Yeah, get used
Would
to
you
it.
feel more comfortable holding on to Lola? Or
probably
Yeah,
worse.
you gotta
But if
pick one up.
something does happen, I'm
Lola's-
so scared.
I mean-
for me,
Mhm.
I might let go.
Okay. So let's have you take Lola then. So we'll just kind of shuffle. So you can go take Lola's leash, and we'll have Debbie take Savannah's.
Okay.
Because the thing that's most likely to happen is one of them to all of a sudden just like shoot for the other one, and it would most likely be Havana because she has that stare and she's watching and she can get kind of intense. That's just gonna build up.
Amanda?
Yeah, not.
Place.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, and I'm gonna step over real quick. All right.
Staying in between them.
Not on purpose, just to give them a couple treats. Do you have any treats for Lola?
Thank you.
Amanda's frozen.
Here. Just hanging out.
Just having our normal little chat. And just watch
Just
it.
hanging out. Nothing
'Cause-
really happening.
We could talk
You
and
just
just.
think you can get her?
Because that is pretty much.
You were just
That
gonna
might
go for the
happen.
treats, huh?
Maybe
Let's
we could
just
just
try
have a
that.
conversation.
So the leash gets tight, bring her back on. Perfect. And then reminder place, and you
Place.
can go back to
I
where
forgot
you
the
were.
word for a minute.
Are they bored or are they?
It's
Thinking
every
about-
time that something happens over here. It's usually whenever you're involved with Havana that Lola starts wandering over like, what's going on?
The jealousy thing?
Yeah, just feeling kind of left out, like there's
Mhm.
energy happening over here, so she gets drawn over to it. But if you look at her ears, she's definitely more, I wouldn't say altogether calm, because her ears are set backwards, and maybe that's a normal thing for Lola,
Yeah.
but that's her feeling kind of vulnerable almost, where she doesn't know what's going to happen. She's almost expecting something to happen, so her ears are, you see every time she
Good
moves.
girl.
Perfect.
Good girl.
Alright.
No, that was a good girl
And
too.
Mhm.
Look at
She
that.
didn't look like she got too upset about
Well,
me
she
giving
did do
her all
this.
that
To
attention.
raise her ears wrong.
She did.
Alright, so
But
this is
she's
going
staring
really
at
well.
her.
Yeah, she's watching. But the rest of her body
Now
language
she's
right
looking at
there.
you like, do I know?
In that situation where she was watching, the rest of her body language was so
Girl.
just calm, just watching it.
Now I'm not gonna give her one. See what happens.
Mhm.
It's okay.
She might wander off and
still
go to
love
mom.
you. I swear, I still love you. It's okay. It's okay.
She's staring at you and she's like, see?
It's okay.
And these beds can move all around the house. Wherever y'all are going to be kind of stationed is where the beds can be. Whenever y'all are going to have them both working at the same time, try at least to work once a day with them both out, just on place together. If y'all can coordinate that at least
Should
once a day.
we work with them individually first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Before
So-
we put them together.
Yeah.
Get them back in the routine again.
Mm-hmm. I would say it went well with Havana being out first and then Lola coming over. Havana did wander off
You
the
mean
bed.
Lola first? Oh, before
I
we
mean,
put them together.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was Lola
Bring
coming
Lola
downstairs
down
whenever
to-
Havana was already down here. So with that happening, it would just be making sure that everything leading up to them being together is controlled. So even though somebody's upstairs putting the leash on Lola, trying to make sure that you go into the room, you shut the door behind you, and then you put the leash on, while somebody downstairs is definitely holding on to Havana's leash, so that if something happened, the dogs are, there's at least some sort of safety net there, where somebody can lead Havana away while Lola gets distracted and just throw treats in her face
Give her
to
a
distract her.
Debbie?
Such a good job. You're being such a good girl.
But your homework is once a day, have them both on place for at least 10 minutes. And that's super easy, super achievable. And if y'all don't feel comfortable right off the bat having them this close, that's fine. Have them further away, and then throughout the days, start working closer and closer.
That's pretty much what I did with the dog food.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah.
taught them myself
She
with
Yeah.
dog
taught
food.
them to be together eating.
Same type of thing.
And then after this is all solved, I can reteach that.
I think it might be best to keep the food separate. So either feeding
For
them
now.
in their where they sleep, because one sleeps in your room. Havana sleeps in your room. and then Lola sleeps in the closet. Just feeding them somewhere where they won't be together, because that's possibly what happened over here. So taking the food out of it, that's going to be the most sure way to make sure that things aren't going to start happening again.
Okay.
There's some red light on your face, and it looks like at a grocery store. Oh, that's what it is. Yep. Because it looks like somebody's like trying to find the barcode on your face.
That's the time shining up on the field.
Oh,
Because I sleep
okay.
very lightly, so sometimes when Dominic's here, I have to come down here.
There's a creep in the
So
house
that
trying
I
to find out who I
get
am.
some sleep, and so then that's how I tell.
Okay, so you just look
So
up.
I can see what time it is. Yeah.
Okay. That's
Lola's
cool, I like
looking. She's not looking though.
And Lola's staring at Debbie.
Such a good girl.
Awesome.
You are.
All right, so do you feel comfortable taking Lola upstairs and putting her in her own little corner where she stays? Or would you rather have Debbie do that?
I can take her upstairs.
Okay, perfect. That's what's gonna happen next. You can free her off, take her up the stairs, put her in whatever room. You can take the leash off and you can come back down and we'll put her in.
Yeah, that's not
When
bad.
you said
Because like in the
10
morning I'll like put one of these and I'll say like this morning I said Lola. I don't want her to do it, so she'll be sitting in the kitchen and she'll be outside. Like this morning I made sure Debbie didn't do it. Made sure she didn't go out. And this morning I grabbed her and I brought her up and she didn't move. I don't think did she?
Okay, perfect.
She did. So go ahead and take her up.
And remember to release her off the bed before you start
Free.
walking out.
The 10 minutes a day, is that when they're together?
Yeah, 10 minutes a day together.
Free.
And whenever they're apart, just whenever you have the ability to work with them, just work with them on place. Good girl. Hi. Oh, look at that big
Look
old
at that
bubble.
Big old bubble. We love the bubbles.
So Havana's staring. That could just be her. She just wants to watch and see what's happening. For some dogs, that would be like the first sign of things starting to escalate. But for Havana, she
likes to stare at things.
Mhm.
So like, now she can look. I mean, she just fixates on things,
Mhm.
so it may not.
How does his leash come off?
Oh, here, I can come help you. There's a leather tab. It should be right next to Lola's head.
Yeah.
If you slide that down the leash towards
And that
you,
one's a little
that'll open
difficult
it up.
to slide. Show Sarah what Havana did to your room.
This leather leash, you slide it towards you, and then keep this opens up and you slide it over her head.
Oh, while you're up there, you want to see what Mary did to my cord? You gotta see
Is it recent?
No. Well, kind of. How recent was it when she did that, Debbie?
When we started to separate them and we were figuring out where to put them, she can't be up in Lauren's room all day when we're gone.
Yeah.
She just tore it up. You did. You were very, very bad girl when we did that. You were. But you know that, right? You were trying to be a bad
Yes,
girl.
I can see she ripped it off. Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's showing what you did. Are you embarrassed? You should be embarrassed. That was not very nice.
Did she ever describe it on the other side of her? Was that the same day? See how? Okay. So this wasn't all in one day? Or was it?
The carpet, I think, was pretty much all one day.
Okay.
But the scratches on the door, that's something that she still does.
Okay.
That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
Okay, that's cool. I don't know what the book, but making a carnival must have been fun.
Really hard to make.
down too for a second.
Good.
And then I gave her treats, and now she's back up.
She did that a couple of times whenever Havana or Lola was down here also, which is very nice.
Now should I go knock on the door?
Well, we could pretty much be done, ending them on a high where when they're together, just calm. That's the best time to split it up, so that the next time they see each other, it's not thinking, oh, excitement happens whenever you're
Right,
around.
and it's
It's
on a
just
good note.
we chill. Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever they're acting how you want them to act, have them do it for a few minutes, and then just take that as a sign of, let's stop it.
Okay, yeah.
So that the next time they see each other, that should be the last memory of just
being
we
together.
hang out next to
Right,
each other.
right,
Mhm.
okay, cool. Appreciate it again. What forms of payment do you take?
anything, cash, card, check.
Do you take Amex?
Yes.
I
Yes.
think so.
I take Square, so I think Square takes everything.
Right. The camera.